It's easy to say, well, they just need to get a job and straighten up. But the fact of the matter is, they're not jobs for people like that. They're not trained. There are really no more choices.
Homelessness is increasing at a rate of 25% a year. More and more children under the age of 6 are becoming part of the homeless population. It's going to take an organization like the Union Mission before we're going to really decrease that problem.
Union Mission has been here for many, many years and was doing things for the homeless and trying to turn people's lives around when there was not much publicity about it. It's imperative that we let the public know what the Union Mission does.
Homelessness is not an isolated social problem. It is inseparable from other tragedies in our community. Addiction to drugs and alcohol, violence toward women, child abuse. The Atlanta Union Mission is working to deal with these, the root causes of homelessness, working to bring about lasting change in the only way possible, by transforming people from within.
I was raised in an environment where I didn't know nothing but drunks and dope addicts and ex-convicts. I started drinking when I was about 12, 13 years old, using drugs when I was 14 or 15. About 5 years ago, I got into a burglary.
The Potter's House is a 570-acre working farm near Jefferson, Georgia. The men who live here face one of the hardest struggles in life, breaking free of the bonds of addiction. Many are here as a humane alternative to prison.
When the judge sentenced me here, I didn't like it. I knew that was the only way I was going to ever get out of the way of life I was in, but I just couldn't see how I was going to do it.
These men experience healing influences not found at most treatment centers. The beauty of nature, the opportunity to learn a craft, to make a positive contribution to a community, the chance to know God.
The only thing that'll work is have the Lord change you from within, teaching in the Bible and being around other Christians, and it just takes time.
Some of the men have no families to care for them. They will live here until they die. Others will find their healing and go back out into the world.
I found out he don't just work no magic in your life. You have to work at it. It don't just come. He don't just grab you and hold you there. You have to work at staying close to the Lord.
I was living with a man who was an alcoholic and abusive, and I left. He took my children, and I fought to get him back. He would take me and the children and lock us in the bedroom and bust the light bulb, and we couldn't get out and leave us in the dark until the next morning.
Village Atlanta is a community of women and children who have found sanctuary from abuse, from poverty, from addiction. It provides a 4-month Christian rehabilitation program that teaches these women how to nurture their children and themselves.
When I first came here, I thought, I don't need to go there. I don't need that counseling. I don't need any of that. And it didn't take me a week to realize I needed it all.
The women at Village Atlanta receive counseling, free child care, and assistance in finding a job. Their goal is to create a loving, stable family life and eventually a home of their own.
My little girl just recently has gotten to where she'll go to bed at night without thinking that her dad's going to come in. For the first time in years, my children have said, I want to go home. That was good hearing that. I can't raise happy children if I'm not happy myself.
There's a whole lot of things that I thought I wouldn't do, I'll end up doing because of crack cocaine. And you don't think about paying no rent or nothing, buying no food. Only thing you want to do is get high. How can a man live like that? I didn't care nothing about myself, didn't care nothing about the next man. I was headed nowhere.
The men's division reaches people on the streets, people with no one to turn to and nowhere to go. Its night shelter gives homeless men a bed. Its community kitchen serves meals to over 1,000 people a day. But for those who are committed to change, it offers something more, a new life.
I learned that without God, you can't do nothing. When God enters your life, you know, you look at life in a whole nother way.
The Personal Development Program, a 5-phase rescue process, helps these men break out of self-destructive behavior and redirect their lives.
The people that know me and know me what I used to be, and they see a whole different guy. They be amazed on the change that done took place in my life. And they said, man, I need to try some of that, you know? You cannot talk it. You got to live this day by day.
In my cell that night, I picked up the Bible for the first time in my life. I was scared of that book. I knew, without a shadow of a doubt, there was an answer in there for me. But I did not feel that I was good enough to measure up to that answer. Love, acceptance, understanding, nurturing. I never knew anything about that. My father got sent to prison when I was 5 years old for hauling and running moonshine whiskey. I was 14 years old before I even knew where he was. I became really rebellious, and at the age of 15, I became very promiscuous. I became the biggest, best prostitute that I knew how to be. But I woke up one day and realized that I was more emptier then than I've ever been in my entire life.
The Women's Division ministers to the homeless, the addicted, and the abused. Women who have never known love, never felt self-esteem. It offers them treatment, education, help in finding a job, help in finding themselves.
The mission has been a blessing to me. It's been a home that I've never really had. I'm accepted for who I am. I'm not criticized for who I used to be, and I'm beginning to find out who I am in God. God just don't make everything right. I have to seek the Lord every day. I just know without a shadow of a doubt that when God gets through with me, that He's going to allow me to turn around and use all the evil in my life for good.